Temple Owls versus Tulsa Golden Hurricane, the American Athletic Conference spotlight turns to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the Temple Owls, 4-3, 2-1 AAC, visit the struggling Tulsa Golden Hurricane, 2-5, 0-4 AAC, in a pivotal mid-season matchup. Temple rides into this contest as a team finding its rhythm after a decisive 49-14 rout of Charlotte, while Tulsa continues to seek traction amid a rebuilding year. The Owls are looking to solidify bowl eligibility and stay within striking distance of the conference's upper tier, whereas the Golden Hurricane are desperate to snap a 4-game skid and reignite their season before it slips away. Offensively, Temple's success hinges on quarterback E. Simon, who has thrown for 1,343 yards and 16 touchdowns with a 61% completion rate. Simon's ability to stretch defenses with intermediate accuracy and red zone poise has driven the Owls' balanced attack. Running back Jay Ducker complements him perfectly, rushing for 560 yards and 5 scores while maintaining a bruising 5.6 yards per carry average. On the perimeter, Kay Hollowayne has become Simon's top target, tallying 341 yards and 3 touchdowns, giving Temple a reliable vertical option. Tulsa counters with quarterback B. Hayes, whose 1,038 passing yards and 7 touchdowns show flashes of potential but are offset by 3 costly interceptions. His chemistry with wideout Z. Booker, 44 receptions, 349 yards, 2 touchdowns, will be crucial if Tulsa hopes to outpace Temple's efficient defense. Running back D. Richardson adds 597 rushing yards and 2 scores, providing the Hurricanes with a steady interior ground threat. Defensively, both teams have standout disruptors. Temple linebacker C. Stewart has anchored the front 7 with 4 sacks and strong run containment, while safety A. Powell's 35 tackles demonstrate his steady presence in coverage. Tulsa's defense has leaned heavily on Jay Burnett, who leads with 6.5 sacks, and linebacker R. Coney, a tackling machine with 76 stops this season. However, Tulsa's inability to limit explosive plays has been its undoing, surrendering over 40 points in 3 consecutive outings. Recent form favors Temple. The Owls have won 2 of their last 3, including a gritty 32-31 win over Navy, showing resilience in close games. Tulsa, by contrast, has been outscored 150-85 over its last 4, struggling defensively against high-tempo offenses. The Golden Hurricanes' early season win over Oklahoma State now feels distant, and their confidence has wavered since. In the conference landscape, Temple sits mid-pack but within reach of a top 4 finish, while Tulsa is entrenched at the bottom of the AAC standings alongside Charlotte. For Temple, another win keeps them in bowl contention and bolsters their postseason resume. For Tulsa, it's about pride, progress, and halting a downward spiral. The X factors will be Simon's efficiency under pressure and Tulsa's ability to protect Hayes against Temple's blitz-heavy schemes. If Burnett can disrupt Temple's timing early, the Hurricanes might create turnovers and swing momentum. Yet, Temple's composure, balanced offense, and superior red zone execution give them the clear edge. Prediction: Temple's form, defensive discipline, and quarterback stability point to a controlled road victory. Expect the Owls to exploit Tulsa's secondary and build an early lead en route to a 34-20 win, strengthening their AAC position while deepening Tulsa's woes. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Temple Owls winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Oklahoma State Cowboys versus Texas Tech Red Raiders. The Big 12 spotlight shifts to Lubbock as the surging number 7 Texas Tech Red Raiders, 6-1, 3-1 Big 12, host the struggling Oklahoma State Cowboys, 1-6, 0-4 Big 12, in a lopsided conference showdown. Texas Tech has established itself as one of the conference's premier contenders, sitting just behind BYU and Cincinnati in the Big 12 standings, while Oklahoma State finds itself at the bottom, mired in a 6-game skid. For the Red Raiders, this game is about sustaining playoff momentum and protecting home turf. For the Cowboys, it's a desperate attempt to salvage pride and find rhythm in an otherwise lost season. Texas Tech's offense, led by quarterback Baron Morton, has been the backbone of its success. Morton has thrown for 1,501 yards and 13 touchdowns against just 3 interceptions, orchestrating one of the most efficient aerial attacks in the Big 12. His chemistry with wide receiver Coy Douglas, who leads the team with 414 receiving yards and a touchdown, gives the Red Raiders a potent downfield threat that punishes secondaries. Complementing the air assault is running back Cameron Dickey, who's been dynamic both between the tackles and in open space, rushing for 631 yards and a team-high 8 touchdowns. His balance of power and burst keeps defenses guessing and opens play-action opportunities for Morton. Oklahoma State's offense continues to lack rhythm and identity. Quarterback Zane Flores has thrown for only 696 yards and 1 touchdown in 7 games, hampered by turnovers and poor protection. Running back Robert Fields Jr. has been a rare positive with 420 yards on 76 carries, but defenses easily focus on him given the Cowboys' limited passing threat. Receiver Gavin Freeman's 233 yards and 2 scores offer flashes, yet the absence of big plays has left Oklahoma State unable to keep pace with quicker, more organized opponents. Defensively, the gap between these teams is glaring. Texas Tech's Dax Bailey has been a constant disruptor with 10.5 sacks, pressuring quarterbacks and collapsing pockets. His edge presence could spell trouble for Flores, forcing rushed decisions. Jacob Rodriguez adds balance with 59 tackles, steadying the defense against runs and short passes. Oklahoma State's defense, meanwhile, has struggled to contain explosive plays. Bryce Rawls leads with 45 tackles, and Wyatt Gregory's 3 sacks offer minimal pressure, insufficient against an attack as potent as Texas Tech's. Recent form heavily favors Texas Tech. Oklahoma State has lost 5 straight, including blowouts to Houston, 39-17, and Arizona State, 49-17, allowing nearly 40 points per game while rarely topping 20 offensively. Texas Tech, meanwhile, has surged with 3 straight wins, a 35-11 rout of Houston and a 42-17 win over Kansas, highlighting their rise. Since their early loss to Arizona State, the Red Raiders have sharpened both offense and defense. With BYU and Cincinnati unbeaten in conference play, Texas Tech must stay perfect to remain in the Big 12 title race. A win over Oklahoma State would solidify its spot among the league's contenders and strengthen its New Year's Six bowl case. For the Cowboys, the focus shifts to development and pride, with bowl hopes already gone. Key X factors are Texas Tech's pass rush and Oklahoma State's control of possession through the run. If Dickey establishes the ground game early, Morton can exploit the Cowboys' secondary. Conversely, if Fields Jr. finds rhythm behind a steadier line, Oklahoma State can extend drives, but doing so against one of the league's most balanced teams will be difficult. Prediction: Texas Tech's relentless pressure, balanced offense, and home field energy should overwhelm Oklahoma State early and often. Expect Morton to post multiple touchdown passes and Dickey to cross the century mark on the ground. Oklahoma State may find a few sparks from Fields, but the disparity in talent and momentum is too steep. Final score: Texas Tech 45, Oklahoma State 13. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Texas Tech Red Raiders winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Wisconsin Badgers versus Oregon Ducks. The Wisconsin Badgers travel west to face the 6th-ranked Oregon Ducks in a Big Ten showdown that pits a program desperate for direction against one firmly in the playoff hunt. Wisconsin enters at 2-5 overall and 0-4 in conference play, mired in a 5-game losing streak that has tested both its depth and morale. Oregon, on the other hand, has surged to a 6-1 mark, 3-1 Big Ten, boasting a dynamic offense and one of the most balanced rosters in the nation. This cross-divisional meeting in Eugene offers a stark contrast: a rebuilding Wisconsin team trying to salvage pride versus a Ducks squad eyeing a potential college football playoff berth. Wisconsin's struggles have largely stemmed from inconsistency under center and a stagnant ground game that's failed to generate sustained drives. Quarterback D. O'Neill has thrown for 635 yards with 5 interceptions, completing just 61 of 88 passes, a stat line reflective of Wisconsin's offensive turbulence. Oregon counters with D. Moore, who has been everything his team could ask for and more. Moore has thrown for 1,686 yards and 19 touchdowns with only 4 interceptions, providing stability and explosiveness behind center. His chemistry with wide receiver D. Moore, 398 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, has been a cornerstone of Oregon's offensive rhythm, allowing the Ducks to spread defenses thin and punish single coverage. Oregon's backfield depth shines through N. Whittington, who's erupted for 336 yards and 4 touchdowns on just 37 carries, an impressive 9.1 yards per rush. Wisconsin's D. Jones has managed 300 yards and 2 scores, but has struggled behind an offensive line that's faltered against top defenses. For the Badgers to have a chance, Jones must shoulder the offense and keep O'Neill out of constant third-and-long situations. Defensively, the Badgers have leaned on linebacker C. Allegro, who leads the team with 44 tackles, but the group has been gashed repeatedly by high-powered offenses, surrendering 30 or more points in 4 of its last 5 contests. Oregon's defense, meanwhile, has thrived thanks to the leadership of linebacker B. Boettcher, who leads the Ducks with 57 tackles, and pass rusher M. Uyagalelei, whose 4 sacks have helped anchor a front that thrives on disruption. Against a Wisconsin offense that has been shut out twice in October, including a 34-0 drubbing by Ohio State, Oregon's defense could feast if it forces early turnovers. Momentum clearly favors the Ducks. They've won 3 straight, including a gritty 24-20 double overtime win over Penn State and a 56-10 demolition of Rutgers that showcased their offensive ceiling. Wisconsin, conversely, has dropped 5 straight by a combined score of 171-45, including lopsided losses to Alabama, Michigan, and Iowa. The Badgers' defense, once a hallmark of the program, now ranks among the league's worst in yards allowed per game. Oregon sits 3rd in the Big Ten standings behind Indiana and Ohio State, but holds a clear path to a major bowl bid if it continues its current trajectory. Wisconsin, buried at the bottom of the standings, is playing solely for growth and respect. For Wisconsin, the X factors are clear: establishing the run with Jones, protecting O'Neill, and forcing Oregon into third-and-long situations. For Oregon, maintaining composure and avoiding turnovers will be key, especially with the temptation to overlook a struggling opponent. Expect Oregon's balanced attack, featuring Moore's arm, Whittington's burst, and a defense anchored by Boettcher, to dictate the tempo early and often. Prediction: Oregon's home dominance and offensive efficiency make them heavy favorites, and analytics give them a staggering 97.2% chance to win. The Ducks should control both sides of the ball en route to a convincing victory. Expect Wisconsin to show early fight but ultimately fall short as Oregon's speed and depth overwhelm the Badgers. Projected final score: Oregon 45, Wisconsin 10. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Oregon Ducks winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Texas A&M Aggies versus LSU Tigers. Number 3 Texas A&M rolls into Baton Rouge this Saturday night to face the number 20 LSU Tigers in a high-stakes SEC showdown at Death Valley. The Aggies, sitting at 7-0 overall and 4-0 in conference play, are aiming to stay undefeated and strengthen their college football playoff resume. Meanwhile, LSU, 5-2 overall and 2-2 in the SEC, looks to defend its home turf and play spoiler to A&M's perfect season. Beyond the records, this matchup carries an emotional charge. Texas A&M hasn't beaten LSU in Baton Rouge in years, and this visit presents its best chance yet to end that drought. Quarterback Mason Reed has been the engine behind Texas A&M's surge, throwing for 1,770 yards with 14 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. His accuracy and decision-making have kept the Aggies efficient and dangerous through the air. Reed's chemistry with wideout Malik Craver, who leads the team with 674 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns, forms one of the SEC's most productive passing duos. Complementing that aerial attack is running back Roderick Owens, whose 396 rushing yards and 3 scores have provided a reliable ground balance. On defense, lineman Corey Howell, 8 sacks, headlines a relentless pass rush that has dictated tempo against opposing quarterbacks, while linebacker Trent York leads with 41 tackles, setting the tone in the middle of the field. LSU's offense is anchored by Garrett Nussmeier, who's thrown for 1,638 yards and 11 touchdowns, but also 5 interceptions, turnovers that have occasionally stalled the Tigers' drives. Running back Caleb Durham, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, brings steady production, while receiver Aaron Anderson's 323 yards make him the most consistent weapon in LSU's passing game. Defensively, linebacker Harold Perkins Jr. and safety A.J. Walsey, 52 tackles, give LSU the physical edge needed to challenge A&M's potent offense. Recent form tilts heavily toward Texas A&M, which has won all 5 of its last games, including a 45-42 thriller against Arkansas and a defensive masterclass in a 31-9 win over Mississippi State. LSU has been less consistent, going 3-2 in that span, with a tough 32-24 loss to Vanderbilt, followed by a gritty 20-10 win over South Carolina. The Tigers' inconsistency, particularly in run defense, could be a concern against the balanced Aggie attack. In the SEC standings, Texas A&M leads the conference alongside Alabama and Georgia, with playoff implications on the line. LSU, mid-pack at 2-2 in conference play, is fighting to maintain its top 25 ranking and keep postseason hopes alive. For the Tigers, an upset over a top 3 opponent would drastically change their season's trajectory and boost their bowl positioning. Depth and health appear slightly in A&M's favor. Their key playmakers are intact, and their defense has been dominant in late-game situations. LSU's depth in the secondary will be tested, particularly if A&M stretches the field early. Reed's efficiency against LSU's secondary, which has struggled with blown coverages this season, could determine how this contest unfolds. The X factors in this matchup center around pass protection, turnover margins, and crowd control. If LSU can generate early pressure on Reed through Perkins and keep the Aggies one-dimensional, the Tigers can force mistakes and capitalize. Conversely, if A&M's offensive line holds firm and Reed continues to spread the ball effectively, Texas A&M's balanced offense will wear down LSU's defense over 4 quarters. With both teams boasting strong defensive identities and dynamic playmakers, expect an intense, physical contest that could hinge on red zone execution. Still, Texas A&M's composure, depth, and momentum give them the edge. Prediction: Texas A&M 31, LSU 24. The Aggies finally break the Death Valley curse and move one step closer to an SEC title shot. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Texas A&M Aggies winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Tennessee Volunteers versus Kentucky Wildcats, the number. 11 Tennessee Volunteers travel to Lexington to face the Kentucky Wildcats in a pivotal SEC matchup that pits a surging contender against a program struggling to regain its footing. Tennessee enters at 5-2 overall and 2-2 in conference play, aiming to rebound from a tough 5-2 37-20 loss to Alabama and reassert itself in the SEC East race. Kentucky, meanwhile, sits at 2-4, 0-4 SEC, desperate to snap a 4-game conference skid and salvage pride against one of the nation's top-ranked opponents. For the Vols, This is a must-win game to stay within striking distance of Georgia and Alabama, while the Wildcats hope to use home field energy to spoil Tennessee's postseason aspirations. Quarterback play defines this matchup. Tennessee's junior signal caller, Jay Aguilar, has been one of the SEC's most productive passers, amassing 1,948 yards with 15 touchdowns and 6 interceptions on 146 completions. His command of the offense and chemistry with wideout C. Brazel, 602 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns, have powered the Volunteers' vertical attack, which ranks among the league's most explosive. Kentucky counters with C. Boley, who has thrown for 885 yards and 4 touchdowns, but has struggled with consistency, tossing 4 interceptions while completing just over 64% of his passes. Boley will need to take care of the football against a Tennessee defense that thrives on pressure and turnover creation. The ground game offers another contrast. Tennessee leans on D. Bishop, who has churned out 604 rushing yards and 7 scores at a bruising 7.8 yards per carry pace. His balance of power and vision keeps defenses honest and opens up play-action opportunities. Kentucky's S. McGowan leads the Wildcats with 476 yards and 3 touchdowns, but the offense's inconsistency often forces them into passing situations, limiting his impact. If McGowan can control tempo and keep Tennessee's offense on the sidelines, Kentucky's upset chances rise dramatically. Defensively, Tennessee holds the edge. Edge rusher T. West anchors the front with 4 sacks, while linebacker A. Carter's 61 tackles highlight a unit that plays fast and physical. Kentucky's defensive bright spot is S. Souls Jr., who leads the Wildcats with 3 sacks and brings relentless energy off the edge. Linebacker A. Afari Jr. adds 39 tackles, but faces a tall task against Tennessee's balanced offense. Form favors the Volunteers. Over their last 5 games, Tennessee has gone 3-2, notching key wins over Arkansas, 34-31, and Mississippi State, 34-0, while staying competitive against Alabama and Georgia. Kentucky's recent stretch has been rough, losing back-to-back games to Texas, 16-13 in overtime, and Georgia, 35-14, part of a broader slump in which defensive lapses and offensive inefficiency have cost them momentum. At home, the Wildcats have shown flashes, such as their early season win over Eastern Michigan, but haven't been able to sustain drives against upper-tier competition. In the SEC standings, Tennessee sits mid-pack at 2-2, trailing powerhouses Texas A&M, 4-0, and Alabama, 4-1, but with an opportunity to climb if it handles business on the road. Kentucky, winless in conference play, finds itself in the basement of the division alongside Auburn. For head coach Mark Stoops, Saturday represents more than a game. It's a test of resilience and a chance to prove his young roster can still compete. Key X factors could determine the outcome. Aguilar's deep ball efficiency and Bishop's consistency in short yardage spots are Tennessee's offensive anchors, while Kentucky's best shot lies in Boley playing turnover-free football and McGowan finding creases against Tennessee's front 7. Weather conditions at Kroger Field could also play a role, especially if wind or chill limit the Vols' passing rhythm. Tennessee enters with more talent, stronger form, and clear playoff motivation. Aguilar and Bishop's balanced attack should expose a Kentucky defense vulnerable to big plays. Unless the Wildcats create early turnovers or special teams momentum, Tennessee's firepower should take over late, reinforcing its status among the SEC elite. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Tennessee Volunteers winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box.